Hello, I'm Andrew, and welcome to this week's edition of Good Evening KU.
And I'm Gabby.
So, Gabby, what did you do this weekend?
I didn't actually do much. I actually woke up yesterday to a whole bunch of snow all over my house.
Yeah, that was a pretty weird surprise. We don't tend to get snow in this area around October.
Yeah, and especially I have never driven in the snow before since I'm from Texas, so it was absolutely terrifying to go to the grocery store.
Yeah, I remember my first time driving in the snow. I was sliding and veering all over the place, and it was not a fun time at all.
And I was absolutely freezing my butt off on campus. It was so cold.
Yeah. Well, we're exactly 1 week away from the election.
Yeah, are you voting this year?
I actually am. I submitted my absentee ballot earlier today. I put it into the mail, and I feel very accomplished. I feel like a grown man, doing my civil duties.
I'm voting by mail too. Have you heard that Lawrence is the only county in Kansas to vote Democratic?
I wouldn't doubt that at all, to be honest.
Especially when you're driving throughout campus or behind campus, you always see all these Biden signs and everything. I think that's pretty interesting.
I just can't wait till all of the political ads are finally gone so I can just watch my sporting events without seeing someone getting slandered for 30 seconds.
Yeah, speaking of sporting, isn't KU basketball? Didn't they just release their schedule?
Yeah, they just released both the men's and women's schedules.
Oh, wow. Are you planning to attend any of the games, or are they going to be in person?
Yeah, so they actually also announced that there's going to be 1,500 fans that they're going to allow into the men's basketball games.
Oh, dang. I bet that's going to be a heavy competition field.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. It'll be weird to see how they work out all of the social distancing guidelines.
Yeah, for sure.
So, have you seen
Are you attending the J School Journalism Career Fair?
I actually was planning on it. I've been looking, I graduate next semester, so I was thinking about potential internships and
potential jobs.
Jobs even.
Yeah, they have a lot of cool brands like the Hawaiian Rolls brand and Target. They're all looking for interns, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's all we have for right now.
Yeah.
So when we come back, we'll have Zero with Sports.
From adversity, we rose. We made history and became pioneers, voyagers, champions, Jayhawks. And when our chant rises, haunting and hallowed, Jayhawks are telling the world what's near. Victory.
Back, I'm Zero with your KU Sports Update. The soccer team lost 2-0 to TCU last Thursday at Rock Chalk Park. The Jayhawks are now 4-2 this season with 3 matches remaining. KU travels to West Virginia this week to play the Mountaineers on Friday night at 6 p.m. The volleyball team hasn't played since October 17th and will look to get back on the court this week in the Sunflower Showdown against K-State. Both matches will be at 6:30 p.m. this Thursday and Friday at the Horsch Family Volleyball Arena. The football team lost again, 55-14 at K-State to fall 0-5 on the season, though they managed to put up a few touchdowns. Kansas was plagued by turnovers and several errors on special teams. Saturday's game marked Kansas' 12th straight loss to Kansas State. The Cyclones are up next for the Jayhawks as Iowa State will be in David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium this Saturday at kickoff is scheduled for 11 a.m. on Fox Sports 1. And finally, both men's and women's basketball teams released their schedules yesterday. The women will begin their season at home on Thanksgiving Eve against Northern Colorado, while the men will take on Kentucky on December 1st in the State Farm Champions Classic. KU Athletics has not issued any statements about fans in Allen Fieldhouse. But as far as COVID-19 protocols, head coach Bill Self says he expects the season to be anything but normal.
But I think the NCAA has been giving advice and information from experts outside the NCAA that have the best feel on the safest way to proceed. Our season will get interrupted this year. I'm not saying Kansas's, but our basketball season, the way we know it, will not come off, at least in my opinion, because of the testing protocols. And I don't see those testing protocols changing.
And that will wrap up our news update. Stay tuned after the break for a quick news update.
Hi everyone and welcome back to Good Evening KU. I'm Annika.
And I'm Makai. Annika, did you hear about everything that has been going on with the Supreme Court confirmation this week?
Yes, I did. After being confirmed as the newest Supreme Court Justice, Amy Coney Barrett took her judicial oath earlier this morning. According to USA Today, Barrett could significantly impact a few major cases before the end of the year, including the challenge to the Affordable Care Act.
Barrett made it very clear that she is not seeking to ruin the Affordable Care Act or manipulate the presidential election in any way. It will be interesting to how having Barrett as a justice will go down in the next few months.
According to CNN, a 3-year-old boy is in critical condition after coming into a Philadelphia hospital with gunshot wounds in his right bicep. A recent spike of violent attacks in Philadelphia have rocked the city, as 11 separate shootings and 2 stabbings have occurred there since Friday.
Besides the young child, 2 victims of violent stabbings also remain in critical care. Although the motive behind the violence is unknown and believed to be unconnected, police have made no arrests in connection with any attacks. The city remains on edge going through 2020 as homicide rates have increased 38% from last year.
In terms of local news, a new study from the University of Kansas shows counties in Kansas that have implemented rules that mandate wearing masks and social distancing in public places have fewer cases of COVID-19. A University of Washington research team found that at the current rate that COVID spreads, over 510,000 Americans could lose their lives because of COVID-19 in the next 4 months.
With that being said, the researchers pointed out that over 129,000 of those lives could be saved by wearing masks in public. So this is your daily reminder to wear those masks on and off campus.
The Los Angeles Dodgers and the Tampa Bay Rays face off in a crucial Game 6 of the World Series tonight. According to ESPN, the Dodgers seek to clinch their first World Series title in 32 years as they lead the game series 3-2.
But can the Rays fight to force a Game 7 and keep their dreams of winning a title alive? Tune in on Fox Sports around 7 p.m. tonight to catch the game. Well, I think that's all we have time for today. Stay tuned after the break for an interview with our very own Jenna Wilson and her twin sister, Janae.
Yeah, I always just clap in this part.
This is where everyone's talking amongst themselves. Do you know how to do it? Do you know how to do it?
Are we supposed to smile?
When do we start? Somebody over here already started.
Can we talk about the piccolo part? It's the most complicated one.
It is.
If you listen, you're doing it when the band's not playing.
You have to tell me when it starts. I still don't know.
Here we go. Just clapping now. No humps.
Nailed it.
I practiced this morning.
Mine was just 2 people.
It has a right and a wrong way of doing it. No. Wrong.
I like my way better.
I don't know how to
1,
do
2,
the
3,
end.
4.
It's just I don't know the head.
It's hard by yourself.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jenna, here with my guest and my sister, Jenna Wilson.
All right.
Today we're going to talk about some wrestling. Are you ready for that?
I am.
For sure. All right. Well, wrestling is one of the oldest sports out there, competitive sports anyways. I'm talking way before like the ancient Greek era. Can you believe that?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. But it's also pretty uncommon, especially for a female to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of wanted to get some answers on what got you started and wanting to compete as a wrestler.
So I began wrestling about almost 10 years ago. But what got me started is walking into a school, seeing a sport that was new, not too really familiar with a lot of people. So I decided to take that on and see how it happened.
Cool. And so I think people also get this misconception about wrestling being really gruesome and you're just kind of like beating up on each other. Mm-hmm. But it also really takes a lot of strategy, I think. So what would you say what do you think like makes a good wrestler?
Definitely, wrestling's more of a mental game than physical. So having that mentality and knowing what you're walking into, being prepared. One of the best things about it is a sport that you can start from scratch if you're looking for something new.
Yeah.
It's all about learning the body and learning the mechanics of the body and how it's working. But it's a fun sport overall, and it teaches a whole different dynamic.
All right. And we're kind of going to steer towards pro wrestling. So I know for me growing up, what made me kind of want to become a wrestler was I used to watch like WWE on TV, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, I want to be a diva. I want to wear those outfits. Like, that's what kind of inspired me to want to wrestle. Then, like, once I started competing in high school and up, I was like, this is nothing like that, like you see on television. Nonetheless, it was still like a learning lesson and a lot of fun. Obviously, I stuck it out, but what do you think? Did you ever have dreams of being a professional wrestler?
Oh, definitely, and part of me still does, but never won't happen. But it's something that a lot of people get confused, and there are a lot of moves that are now, I would say, starting maybe 2013, implemented into professional wrestling from collegiate wrestling. But it's two different worlds, really.
Yeah, for sure, and that's what a lot of people think wrestling is pro wrestling, which kind of leads back to what I was talking about wrestling being uncommon. So what would you say, what do you think it would take for the sport to kind of grow and for people to get more familiar with it?
I think it'd be not a social media sort of a brand. It's getting more of the top tier athletes familiar with it, promoting it. It's a sport that's out there, but a lot of individuals are not taking into consideration what it truly means, what it truly is. So getting more familiar with that field.
For sure. All right. So who is your favorite professional wrestler?
Oh, that's so hard. There are so many to choose from. If we're going based off of female wrestlers, my favorite would have to be Victoria for WWE.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. I'm probably going to go with Shawn Michaels, HBK Shawn Michaels, rooting back to DX. I'm a big wrestling fan, so he was probably one of my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah. And lastly, to end it off, I want to ask you, what are your dreams for wrestling? Do you have any more wrestling dreams or goals for it?
I think I'm done. I think I'm completely done with wrestling. If I do anything else differently, it would be going into the field of probably assisting. Not so much coaching, but assisting.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Well, for me, the dream is always still alive. As I said, I love wrestling. I love WWE. So who knows? Maybe one day, professional wrestling. But that's all the time we have today. We're going to toss it over to Adrian with the weather. Thank you all for tuning in.
Diversity. What is diversity? It can be an umbrella term for a variety of things, ranging from diversity among different people, places, cultures, and ideas, to the way people express themselves and the way they interact with the world. In today's world, people interact with one another and share their thoughts through social media. Let's take Twitter, for example. How are people of different backgrounds, ethnicities, and sexual orientations with different political beliefs, interests, and job titles using this platform differently? Currently, celebrities are interacting with their fans on Twitter by speaking their minds, sharing their beliefs, and supporting social issues. Professional sports figures and organizations in the United States are using Twitter to support social causes and bring attention to current social matters, such as encouraging their fans to vote. Users are voicing their opinions about current issues surrounding racial inequalities, social injustice, and police brutality in the United States. There's diversity in the way people are discussing the upcoming presidential election, especially regarding their opinions of each candidate. Different news outlets are not only highlighting stories in the US, but are talking about important stories from around the world. But many Twitter users don't post about controversial matters or social issues at all. Rather, they use their platform to create memes and post funny content for entertainment. While many topics going around this app involve social issues and political opinions, Twitter creates a space where people can pull together collections of diverse thoughts, comments, opinions, goals, and even a little humor too. So how can we use this platform to express our differences? More importantly, how can we use it to learn from each other's differences today?
Hello, welcome back to Good Evening KU. I'm Adrian Campa here with your weather forecast, coming to you live from Wichita, Kansas. I'm not able to be in Lawrence at this time, but the weather across all of Kansas is pretty much the same right now. So here in Wichita, we actually ended up getting quite a bit of ice and some snow accumulations. We had over an inch of snow, and Lawrence also saw some snow and some ice accumulations. Thankfully, we're not really going to be expecting that much more. On satellite and radar, we do see that there is some mix across the state, but most of us are remaining pretty dry. And there is going to be some more activity coming in from Oklahoma and Texas, especially the panhandles. That'll be streaming north and east throughout the day, well, tonight and into tomorrow especially. But a warm front will be pushing through the region. And as that does, we'll start off with a little bit of freezing rain. That'll transition to all rain. So we could be talking about 2 to maybe 4 inches of rain by the time this is all said and done with on Thursday. So it's going to be a wet next couple of days, but there is relief in sight. On our extended forecast, you can see that we are going to warm back up into the near 50 for tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we're going to stay in the upper 40s. But then finally, some sunshine is expected by the end of the week on Friday, mid 50s. And then our Halloween forecast, a high of 63 degrees expected. Beautiful conditions. So if you do have any Halloween activity, since it is a Saturday, it's going to be a perfect day to get out there and enjoy Halloween. And then we stay pretty warm and dry through the remainder of the weekend and into early next week. Then on election day, it can get pretty cold. We could be talking about temperatures back in the 30s, but at this time, we're not expecting any widespread snow or anything like we saw the last few days, but we are expecting colder temperatures midweek next week. Now, that is all I have for you today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you back next week.